back, episode 42. Today we are going to be talking about how you can increase your curb appeal with those cold, dreary, disgusting, fantastic winter months coming. But first, before we get started, I'm Tyler Willis Media. Payton, what you got going on nowadays?
Hey guys, it's Payton with Payton Peoples and Company, Keller Williams Realty Atlanta Partners.
Christian Vivanco at CrossCountry Mortgage.
Mr. C.
Mrs. C
Yeah,
for now.
except today his name is Mr. C.
Oh, I love it. Guys, today it might be pretty heavy on mine and Peyton's side. What's some ways that we can increase that curb appeal as grass is dying off, they ain't got leaves, they naked. Like, we got all this stuff going on that normally could help increase the chances of a house selling. But now as we move into winter, you just can't really see the beauty of everything. So what can we do? What are some things that we could do? Silence.
I think the worst thing to do, and you may feel differently about this, Tyler, but I think the worst thing to do is to like virtually alter the photos.
Don't do that.
It's crazy to me when it's like, hey, this is our new listing, and then
green
the
grass
pictures are like green grass and flowers everywhere, and I'm like,
tulips.
What? Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I'm like, did you take these at Easter or what is happening? Like, I always think that's like the worst thing you can do.
I agree.
But I also feel like you've got to get your shit cleaned up. Like, you can't just leave leaves everywhere. And it's wild to me what I see in some of these photos of zero effort was put in, but I don't know how to like make it better. It is what it is.
To me, some basic things. Okay. So if you've got a dead tree, go ahead and get it cut down during that winter time, especially if it's not going to be, if it's dead, go ahead and get rid of it. Or if you've got some kind of bush in the front of the house that normally if it blooms and blossoms and is gorgeous, go ahead and manicure it that way it still looks like it's a bush and not just craziness. So go ahead and do like simple manicure stuff like that. Don't have any weeds, especially if they're overgrown and dead looking. Go ahead and get those cut out. Go ahead and get your home ready for that springtime whenever everything comes back to life. That way, in case your house does sit, and we are seeing houses sit for a little bit longer than what we're used to coming out of the pandemic times whenever a house went under contract in 13 seconds. That way, when buyers are driving around, because let's be real, with the way that Zillow and everything else is out there, you can go drive around without an agent nowadays because you know where everything is in your budget. And just simple things like that. Go ahead. If you got some gravel that you want to put out and do like a little rockscape somewhere, go ahead and get that kind of stuff done. Just little things to boost it during those winter months would definitely help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely feel if doing a landscaping project or some type of upgrading something, especially with the rock situation, winter is the best time to do it. Do it now while everything's dead and you can actually dig under the bushes and stuff. So do those things.
Yes.
But I am not a florist. Don't ask me. I can't keep anything alive. These are fake. I don't do real plants. I have zero to contribute when I'm like, hey, find something wintry. But if that means find something wintry, find something that looks realistic but might be fake. Put that shit on your front porch.
Ornaments.
Or garland. Put some garland out there.
Something. Right.
Big old bow. Got him. Got him.
Yeah. But I feel like there's a million things that you can do correctly or incorrectly. It's just, you've got to be like really intentional, because this kind of goes back to what we were talking about at a previous episode of you can't go crazy with the winter holiday decor outside too when you're looking at selling a house. You've got to be really minimalistic with all of that stuff. But also, if everything is brown, find something, a wreath, something, put a little bit of effort in. Ask a friend, phone a friend. What would you do here? You know what? Here's a better idea. Take a picture of your front porch, post that shit on social media, and ask your friends what you should put there.
Barbecue grill.
A barbecue grill. Nice.
On the front porch.
On the front porch. I mean.
But going back to it too, I have a client that spent, or his client, I should say, spent like $200,000 on landscaping. And so I told him straight up, I said, you need to have me out before everything dies Then you could just put in the disclaimer down there that these pictures were taken on this date and this is what it looks like before winter. Don't do it
Mhm.
virtually. Just have your photographer come out before the winter landscape. If you know that they're going to list during winter, go ahead and get the stuff done for the exterior during the late summer, early fall, and just knock it out. And
Yeah,
so
especially if you're spending that kind of money.
Two hundred
Like,
thousand.
on
yeah,
landscape,
get it while it's beautiful.
And does
otherwise you're not
Home
going to
Depot
get
buy
that
the
reinvestment.
green spray? How you guys do the same?
I
No,
do
they
know a
do
company that
sell
will
like
do that.
grass, so you just
Mm-hmm.
attach it to your hose and then spray grass seeds, and then sprays all green.
But it's like
Yeah,
neon green.
or
It's
Yeah,
yeah, the
that stuff is.
cheapest
It's
option would
very
be to put on the ad needs TLC. That's it.
just yep.
as is property,
As
but
is.
it's $1 million listing, but as is.
Yeah.
Come
Well,
on
I
now.
mean, even in-person showings and stuff, so we're already on MLS, the picture's already done, yeah. But if you know you have people coming to your house to come show your house, but there's leaves everywhere, take the blower and blow that shit off. Like, I showed a house a couple of weeks ago, right when all of the leaves really started falling like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and the driveway was, like, straight up. And you couldn't even see the driveway because it was covered in
Yep.
leaves. And I was like, and it was one of those, like, you pull in the driveway and, like, you either commit or you're not going.
Huh?
So
Huh?
hit the gas because you're either going or you're parking in the street.
Yep.
So my clients were already parked at the top of the driveway, and she was, like, panicked because I drive a pretty big car. And she was like, oh my God. Cause, like,
Roller coaster.
I just
Yep.
hit the gas, and she was like, I seriously thought you were going to roll back down the hill because there's no traction. Like, there's nothing to stick to because it was literally like
Leaves
just ice, but
everywhere.
leaves.
Yep.
So it's that kind of stuff and that was like a huge turnoff for them. They were like, to deal with all the time. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
was already putting doubts of why they didn't like this house before we'd even made it through the front door.
Yep.
I'm just like, there's just little things to pay attention to. From photos to showings, make a little bit of effort,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
That's one of the biggest turnoffs for me whenever I go to shoot a property too. If I see a hill, I do everything I can to avoid getting like I don't want to show the hill because I'm like I want you to come out and experience it and see if you
Right, and then
like the
you can
house
decide for
first and
yourself.
then exactly. And like
Mhm.
that right there during the fall, if I see leaves on pavement, I park at the bottom of the hill and walk my happy butt up because I'm like I can walk on the grass and feel safer.
Right,
But no, I'm right there
right,
with you. Go ahead and get you a little blower and blow those leaves off. Like I know it sucks. Get out there 10 minutes, get you a couple steps.
right, but it really is. It's like a 10-minute commitment, like, maybe 10
Yeah, you don't
minutes,
have to do the
like,
whole
just
yard. Just do the driveway.
no,
It's
yeah,
just
blow them in the yard.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
fine.
or into your neighbor's yard
That's
because you're
yeah,
moving. Who cares anyway?
Georgia drivers. You need to learn how to drive on the snow, on rain, and on leaves.
And on leaves. Yep, that's it.
yep.
The so okay. Back during the COVID era, we had appraisers just looking at photos and giving their appraisals.
Mhm.
Now, during the winter months, on the mortgage side of things, does it affect the value of the home at all when it comes to the way that things look during the winter versus spring? What does that look like?
You drive in and you're like, oh my gosh, this neighborhood looks so good. The neighbor takes care of the grass. There's no weed on
Mm-hmm.
the side. And then you put your house up for sale and sells pretty fast. Whatever amount that house sold for is establishing a sales history. So that's what appraisers look at. If it's, I don't think if the house, if we have a snowstorm and then the appraiser goes to the house and says, oh, everything is covered in snow, I don't think that should affect the value of the home. They just look at the sales history, and then indirectly is because if the curb appeal helped to sell all the other houses around it, your house is probably going to sell too, and then for a
Right.
really
So,
good amount of money. This house sold for 350, then the other one for 360. Your house may sell for 370. Everything is
Mhm.
just math for them. It's just economics.
Yep,
Mhm.
it's a formula. You just plug it in and see
I
what
mean,
gets spit
same
out.
size, same amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, living space, upgrades, obviously, quality of materials used in the construction of the home, upgrades, and things like that.
so
Yep.
Yeah. And then whoever the appraiser was putting a value on homes based on pictures, I hope he was able to check the AC and the furnace looking
exactly.
at pictures.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was
we don't.
truly it was a wild what a time to be alive during the pandemic because it was the amount of deals that I closed that a desktop appraisal was done, meaning
Oh,
the
the
appraiser
waiver.
yeah, those or that the appraisers
Every
just never even went to the house.
well,
They were in another state and they
yeah.
just looked up whatever information they could get online and issued an
Wild.
appraisal. It was
I think that the main reason
wild.
for that is the amount of down payment people actually put. They were selling their homes
Yeah.
and then they were coming up with 50% down.
All
Yeah,
of it.
tons of equity.
During that time, like as a listing agent, when the appraiser would call and say, "Hi, this is when we're going to be doing the appraisal. Just want to let you know." I literally just got in the habit of saying, "Okay, will you physically be there?" Or and that was great information for us to have because then I needed to know how to approach that conversation later because if the appraisal didn't go well and I knew that
Yep.
they had done it via
Right.
desktop,
Desktop.
okay, now we have some ammo to go back to you to fight with you about
Mm,
that. You didn't even
step
do X,
foot
Y,
out
and Z.
here.
You don't even know anything about this area or those kinds of things. There's different sides to it, but I don't see that happening as much. But I feel like that might be a regional thing. I can only imagine that maybe like in Minnesota, where it
Ah, ah,
snows a
ah.
lot, you probably don't have appraisers who like go out and do
You
things like
probably don't
when
have
there's
appraisals.
5,000 feet of snow
That's
somewhere,
funny.
but it doesn't do that here. So,
Yeah.
like, that's not a thing in our area.
Well,
Every once in a while, we have an ice storm, but
if somebody drops a cup of ice.
Yeah.
Um, but I
yeah,
think the sole existence of appraisers, I think, is just to evaluate the amount of risk that the bank's taking. If you buy the house
Mm,
cash, you don't require an appraisal. It's up to
right.
you if you want to do it or not. And then if you put so much equity into a home and relieve so much pressure on the amount of risk that the bank is taking, then you get your appraisal waiver. I don't know. Uh, the day I think is just everything is inclined to the amount of risk that the bank is taking, not necessarily that the amount of risk that you are taking as a buyer.
right.
And that's why a lot of agents, or well, at least all the ones that I know, will recommend an inspection. It's not
Yes.
going to go on the crawl space and see if you have termites or if
No.
you have a cast
Right.
iron plumbing in there. But your inspector will, and then we'll find out that you might be in danger within the next 2 years.
You get a good one. Because
Exactly.
some inspectors aren't that great. Let's be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a
It was
guy
really
actually.
funny.
What's the name
Go
of the
for
guy that is on Facebook all of the time and posts his pictures and it says, "Oh, look
Lee.
at this."
Lee.
Yes. So do you see the picture from today?
Oh
Like
no.
No.
I think it's a rat. It's like laying
Oh
down.
yeah,
It
that was
reminded me.
yesterday.
It
Is
reminded me.
I wanna go home and get naked and take a shower or something.
Yeah, exactly. It reminded me when landlords spray on the wall and invade
Oh,
the whole thing. It seems like they painted the rat.
He said, "A lot of today made me want to burn my clothes and ride home naked."
yep, yep. Hilarious.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Ugh.
He'll send
He's
me
very
stuff.
thorough.
He'll send me stuff that he can't post, and there's some that I'm just like, "Oh my." This is why
Yeah.
I'll never do what you do, dude. This is why
Only
I
fun
will
No.
rated.
never do. Hilarious. But I do have one thing too. This is funny. Back in, I want to say it was 2020, could have been 2021. I did a property that had 3 homes on it. It was like a big. They were trying to do it as a state.
Like a compound.
Yeah, and then they had gotten an appraiser to come out during the same time frame that I was there doing all the photos. So he started in one house while I was in another. We just switched back and forth. And he had finished one house and he was like, I gotta go sit in the truck and charge my batteries real quick because I'm already out of batteries. And I looked at him and I was like, this is why you bring multiples to this kind of thing. He was like, I've never done this kind of thing before. And I was just like, really? Like, you should have thought about it. Like, you were doing 3 homes, one's 9,000 square feet. Come on, dude. Like, it was
Be
funny.
prepared.
It was really funny. But he was like, yep, I'll be back in a couple hours once I got some more batteries.
Yeah, he's not a good
Bless.
candidate for electric vehicles.
he was
Right.
he was hilarious. I just remembered that one. But
Aw.
so another thing that you can also do to boost some curb appeal in my head is it like if you need to spend the money during the winter months, go ahead and get it painted on the outside. Fix up the trim, make it pretty. That way, when spring comes, it pops. If you need to do that kind of stuff during the winter time, whenever you got a better sense of my house is going to sit for a little bit, let's go ahead and fix up this yada yada yada. Do those little exterior maintenance pieces, especially if it's like I need to dig up this flower bush. Go ahead and dig it up. Be done.
Mhm.
Put some stuff over it. That way that when the spring's ready to go, like you're good to go.
Yep.
But I think that's about all we got on boosting curb appeal for this episode, guys. Unless we got any final ideas, final parting.
No,
Yeah, pick up after your pet.
use Google.
Pick
Look
up.
on Pinterest.
Yes, and pick up after your pets. Holy crap, dude! There's so much crap in
Oh,
yards
yeah.
nowadays.
There's nothing worse than walking in the yard to explore.
Bam.
We need to go find where the septic system is or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
just like
Extra
dog
fertilizer.
bombs everywhere.
In that same vein, if you've got holes in your front yard that are pretty deep, go ahead and get them things filled with sand and stuff during this time, because I have fallen in holes and I'm a big guy. Like, I ain't got time for this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. I twisted my ankle several years ago pretty bad, and I fell in a hole. And I was like, really? This is your front freaking yard, dude.
Why do you have a giant hole in your yard?
And it was all covered with grass. That was the worst part. That's why I couldn't see it. And I just went
Yeah, that's
straight
so
down,
bad.
like a good foot down.
Dang.
And then I told the agent, she was like, "Oh yeah, I was trying to tell the homeowner that it should have fixed that." Yeah,
Could have given me a heads up.
whatever. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this episode. Every Tuesday, come back. Now that we're moving into the holidays, we'll have some different things, especially towards the end of December, with some recap from the year. We got our 1-year anniversary coming up. What?
Crazy.
We've been putting up with each other for a
1
year.
year birthday to
Yeah,
us.
we're doing
That's
shots.
right. No, that's right. We're doing shots. For how many episodes we get to by then, that's how many shots Christian's going to have to do.
Mr. C on deck.
Mr. C.
That's right. But anyway, guys, every Tuesday, find us on the socials, on YouTube, all that stuff. Get caught up with the content. Anyways, love you guys. See y'all soon. Peace out.
Bye.